given that vector A dot vector B is equal to 0 and vector A cross vector B is equal to the 0 vector, what can you conclude about the vectors vector A and vector B? Now, a bunch of points here. First of all, अगर ये दोनों vectors का dot product 0 के बराबर है, that means that the two vectors are perpendicular. तभी cos of 90 degrees is equal to 0, that means both of them are perpendicular. At the same time, अगर vector A and vector B, ये दोनों का जो cross product है, that is equal to 0, that means that they are parallel or they are anti-parallel. But how can this be possible? अगर कोई दो वेक्टर perpendicular भी हों और parallel भी हों, that does not seem to be true. So what in fact happens is we need to take another approach to this problem. What can happen is कि अगर इन दोनों में से कोई एक वेक्टर 0 वेक्टर के बराबर खुद हो जाए, then both of these conditions can hold true. How can you conclusively prove this? Well, let's take the first condition. तो पहले condition से you can write that the magnitude of vector A times the magnitude of vector B times the cosine of the angle made between them is equal to 0. And from the second condition, that the cross is equal to the 0 vector, what you can say is the magnitude of the cross product is also equal to 0. And we know that the magnitude of the cross product is equal to the magnitude of the product of the magnitude of both vectors times the sine of the angle between them. This is equal to 0. Now, let's say for the sake of to make a contradictory argument, that the magnitudes of vector A or vector B are not equal to 0. So that is, vector A's magnitude is not equal to 0, vector B's magnitude is not equal to 0. Then, from the first condition, cos of theta is equal to 0. And from the second condition, you will have that sine of theta is equal to 0. अब ये दोनों conditions एक साथ hold नहीं कर सकते हैं. अगर cos of theta 1 होगा तो sin of theta has to be positive or negative 1. If sin of theta is equal to 0, then cos of theta has to be equal to positive or negative 1. ये दोनों conditions एक साथ hold नहीं कर सकते हैं. So no such theta actually exists. So what that means is कि हमारा जो assumption था, that is wrong, and that means that one of them, at least one of these vectors, is the 0 vector. Either vector A is equal to the 0 vector, or vector B is equal to the 0 vector, or both are 0 vectors.